FM Baton Rouge.
Today on the show, almost the family football team. Why do we bury our dead? Lessons from St. Max, our picks of the week, and so much more. The Catholic Underground starts right now. That's right. It's time for the CU Weekly, the podcast that tries to cut through the noise of the digital continent and bring you the topics that actually matter. This is episode 382. Golly, we're getting old. I'm Kathleen Lee. You have me just for 2 more weeks, and then our good shepherd, Father Chris, will be back. He is now back across the ocean.
He's on the continent.
In Canada. Yes.
Continent, yeah.
He is, but here with us today we have Olivia Gulino, Associate Director of Youth and Young Adult Ministry for the Diocese of Baton Rouge. Hello, Olivia.
Hello, Kathleen.
She brought apple pie today. We are rejoicing.
Mercy, yes.
We also have as our guest today Father Brad Doyle. He is the parochial vicar of St. James, St. Philip, and Our Lady of Peace in Vacherie, Louisiana.
That's 3 churches.
That is 3. 3
Count 'em.
churches.
Count them.
Count them up.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. We're so glad that you're here. We also have up in space our very own Jeff Blackwell, Technical Director of CU and what are you? Captain, Capitan, Commandant?
I'm the guy, they say. You know,
Yeah.
hey, come here.
Of Just Star 1 near
It's
Earth
good to be
orbit
here, yeah.
satellite. Good to have you, Jeff.
It's good to be
We also
here.
have in the ball pit one Mr. Ed Ball, who is our video director. Hello, Ed.
He says
Yep,
howdy.
He says hi.
You can't hear it, but we can feel it.
Yes,
Yes.
indeed. So
Does
like
he
we're
even exist?
yeah. Well, is he a figment of our imagination?
He's like that flying robot Roomba thing in Flubber. You know, like that,
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm talking about? That's what came to mind.
No.
Welcome,
but
ladies and
okay.
gentlemen.
I was gonna say insert some kind of Father Chris sci-fi reference. to
That's
Star
kind of
Trek.
sci-fi, Flubber.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. It is definitely sci-fi.
Yes,
I just had a
indeed.
picture of like what Father Chris's face would look like if he would have heard me say that.
Yeah. Well, good thing. I mean, not good thing, because we miss him very dearly. He's
Yes, we do.
in Canada celebrating Thanksgiving this week with our good friend Roberto. We love you, Roberto. Big fan of the show. Big supporter.
Roberto Betty, yes.
Yes, indeed. So
Love you,
we
man.
have another live show next week, and then Father Chris is back. I don't know if I can give up my chair.
I think y'all should just like share the same shot. Maybe like one of you on a stool or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah,
The
I
first
think,
show,
let
the
an
first-
arm wrestling event,
Yes.
determine who
Yeah, battle
wins.
royale.
Who wins?
you would beat him. I'm no
I
doubt
mean,
about
It's all about the wrist.
let's be honest.
Break the wrist. Break the wrist.
Let's be
Break the
honest.
wrist. All right.
No,
let's
it's a
keep it
term,
simple,
not.
kid.
Yeah, right.
Whoa.
Well, speaking of breaking things, Father Brad, I know you are a big football fan.
Okay.
Well, they break things in the football.
Like, don't hurt me.
I know, no. That's why I would never play football. Is because I'm afraid somebody's gonna hurt me.
Well,
True.
Yeah, but I know that.
And for our radio listeners, we need to let them know that Father Chris is wearing a Saints jersey.
Father Brad,
here.
yeah, Father Brad
Brad,
is
sorry,
wearing his Saints jersey. Who dat?
Which one are you wearing?
Who dat?
Who dat?
The only one that matters.
Breezy, baby.
Let's
Breezy.
be honest. Let's be
Number
honest.
9.
The GOAT.
Yes, indeed. Now
Oh
here
my
in Louisiana,
gosh.
we love our Saints. We love our Tigers.
Saints. We love our Saints and our Saints.
And, yes, we do. But you know what I love? I love when football players, and we know that sports athletes usually use their positions to stand on some kind of platform. I love this story about Philip Rivers, because just what he had to say about life, about family is so cool, and he uses his position as quarterback, right, to just be awesome.
Absolutely. Yes, Philip Rivers, he's a really good quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers. They're not the San Diego Chargers anymore. They're the Los Angeles. They moved. But he's well-known Catholic. He's very open about his faith. And there's an interesting situation where he shocked many people about a statement he made. He's already been blessed with 8 beautiful children. So #Catholic, right?
Yep.
And Rivers and his family are devout Catholics. He and Tiffany are junior high school sweethearts who married
That's so
no.
sweet.
Oh, little babies.
when they were 19 and 18. They met each other.
Wow.
So,
No, they married when they were 19 and 18, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
They were junior high sweethearts, and they married when they were 19 and
So
18.
they must have been just out of high school.
That's
Gosh.
wow.
Yeah, well, that's why they have 8 kids. They had time. They have time. They have 6 girls and 2 boys, ranging in age from 16 to almost 3 years old, and are completely open to life, obviously. And their couple's children, their names are Haley, Caroline, Claire, Grace, Gunner, which is does anyone know what that is? That's a
like
football reference.
Oh, I was going to say that sounds like one of the characters from the Icelandic team on Mighty Ducks.
Gunter. Come on. And then, no, a gunner is somebody who on a punt, you punt it, and they're the person that goes down to tackle the guy receiving the punt. It's a gunner.
Okay.
Is that why he named his?
I suspect. And then it's Peter. So it's like Gunner and Peter.
And the next 6 names are
Like, I don't know if he had like a deeper conversion after Gunner. He's like, and then it's Peter, Rebecca, Sarah, Catherine. So the real story here is that during an interview with sports talk host Dan Patrick, he's a reporter, he asked Rivers if he and his wife were done having children, which is a classy question, right?
Yeah. Well, if you have more than 4 kids, I feel like that's the question you get asked. Like, so y'all done?
Yeah.
Y'all good now?
Or my favorite, you do know how this happens. Huh? I'm like, what?
So
okay,
stupid.
what?
Yeah.
Weirdos.
So Dan Patrick asked a classy question, right? The quarterback. This was Philip's response. He says, "Heck no. I hope not." I don't know if that's the exact way he said it, but I hope it is.
Probably.
Seemingly in disbelief, okay, Dan Patrick said, "I should talk to your wife. Does your wife know that you want to have more?" And it's kind of like he's trying to drive a wedge,
What was
right?
the context of this interview?
I don't know. People do weird interviews. Oh yeah, he says this. Oh yeah, she's all in. I love it. Rivers assured him, but the interviewer interrupted to gasp, 6 girls? Which is kind of sexist, right? I mean, it's like, come on, girls are awesome. Confidently, the quarterback affirmed the couple's mutual stance on life and having more babies. And Rivers went on to describe a little about his family functions. He talked about his faith and all that. And he said, but I'll tell you what, as if to reassure the interviewer that being the father of 6 girls is a blessing, not a curse. The 3 oldest are girls. Now they're 16, 13, and 12. So we have a lot of little mamas in the house helping out.
Yes. That's
Right.
beautiful.
And so Patrick, it was just, he was really blown away and didn't know how to respond to this thing that's countercultural. And that's really what I want to talk about, is that Philip Rivers is using his platform as a quarterback to do great things in sports, right? He's a very good quarterback. He did throw 2 picks today. Sorry, Philip. But he's living out his faith in the world. I mean, that's really the vocation of the laity, right? He has this platform. He's a great football player. He witnesses to his faith in that. He's not afraid to say that, and he witnesses to his faith. So it was really awesome that he's using his vocation well.
Yeah, and I think too he's witnessing to in a radical way to the dignity of the human person, because that comment about 6 girls, that strikes me as commodifying a human being. If you have 6 girls, well, that's a lot of weddings to pay for, or that's just a lot of girls. Don't you want more boys? Don't you want it to be more even? And then you're just thinking about kids as numbers, as currency, as just commodities that are either helping you or hurting you.
Right.
And I feel like his response is well, I hope we have more. Yeah, heck yeah, we're both in for this. And it's just that radical witness to the dignity of the human person, that every person is good, and it has nothing to do with the choices that they'll make or the amount of money that they'll cost, because it just costs money to be alive. It has nothing to do with that. The fact that they are is good. And that's just a beautiful thing to witness to.
Yeah, and what it shows is, I think, a deeper misunderstanding about marriage and family and culture, right? So someone who's actually living out the reality of the natural law, right? That's what marriage is for. That's what sexuality is for. And children is a part of it. Procreation is an end of that. And it's so when you're concentric to God, you're eccentric to the world, right? Eccentric means you're over there and you just look weird to me because you're concentric to God, because the world's eccentric to God. So when you're concentric to God, you're eccentric to the world. And so it blew Dan Patrick away, because he didn't know why this quarterback who is seemingly successful could have whatever he wants. He could use any contraception he wants. He could have the best quote unquote artificial contraception in the world that he wanted, but he's being totally open to life, and he's actually being set free from that.
Yeah.
Well, and the idea that, don't you want to focus on your career? Don't you want to focus on your riches? Don't you want to focus on what, all these other things that you can be, in commercials and spokesmen for.
Right.
And you want to devote your time to kids.
Yeah. Like why have kids when you have money?
Yeah.
And things to
Right?
spend it on and places to go, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's the underlying mentality.
Yeah.
Also want to point out he's a spokesman for a company called Groove Rings. Have you ever heard of Groove Rings?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so Jeff, the groove rings are they're silicone rings. So let's say there's something called, I think this happened to who's the host, the late night host?
Fallon.
Oh, I can't even think about
Oh,
that.
when he
yeah.
almost ripped his finger off
Oh,
because he had a metal ring and he caught it on a corner or something. It's there's some kind of weird term
Yeah.
for that. But so there's this thing, like if you're active, what do you do? Like if you're a football player, you're always working
Yeah.
out, you're always throwing the
Yeah.
ball. Like
Yeah.
you want to have that symbol, right? Or
Right.
that symbol of unity. And so these companies, and Groove Ring's one of the best because of the way it's patented and designed. It allows air to get in, and it doesn't give you this like little gross, sweaty finger, for lack of better words. And it's silicone, so you can work out with it, and you could represent. I see a lot of people at CrossFit gyms.
Yeah.
A lot of people running races. I'll see
Yeah.
him with Groove Rings, and he's a spokesman, and that's a pretty cool get for the
Yeah.
Groove Rings to get a football player, but it shows where his heart is, right?
Yeah.
He's not the spokesman for what have you, some like clothing line. His clothing line is a wedding ring.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that's
cool.
awesome.
I watch the Saints and I watch my Tigers, and that's probably about it. But I love when there's an athlete who wears it, because they just don't, and you don't know, like, in that environment, do they not? Obviously, they're not wearing it on the field because it could be
dangerous.
dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also football players who wear, like, what's that football player?
Alvin Kamara and his
Yeah.
septum ring.
And he looks like yeah.
Well,
and I'm like,
hey,
come on.
you know what the original symbolism for marriage was a nose ring.
Nose ring.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
heck
what is it? Where in the
Ezekiel.
Yeah.
So in the book of
Wow.
Ezekiel, it's this symbol, or it's talking about God's relationship to Israel, and like Israel's the bride, and he's like, I'm going to clothe you. I'm going to put a royal crown on your head. I'm going to, put a necklace around your neck and a ring in your nose. Because I'm marrying you. And so originally in Semitic cultures in the Middle East, especially at that time around Jesus and before, you wouldn't wear a ring around your finger. You'd wear a nose ring. It meant you were married.
Huh.
So maybe
Wow.
Kamara's married.
Maybe.
Don't think so, but he
where
could be.
in the nose would they put? Did we have any evidence on our research on where the ancient Jews would wear their
I don't.
in which nostril, septum?
Which nostril?
Good question.
I'm curious.
good
That's not a
question.
weird question.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I mean, it's a little bit weird. Whatever.
But anyway, I love seeing the guys who wear those
Yeah.
rings, because it's a choice. Like it's so easy for you to say, oh, I'm gonna take this off and just take my wedding ring off because of XYZ.
Because of reasons.
Yeah, but for them to say, I'm gonna take my actual wedding ring off and put this one on because it's still important in everything
Yeah.
that I do. I'm married.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
Well,
I think
what
it's
I
awesome.
tell people with rings, we're talking about rings now. This is awesome. So it's like, because a lot of priests, I'd say my collar is my ring, right? It's an external symbol of an internal reality about my relationship to the bride, which is the church. And do I always wear my clerics? Obviously not, because I'm gonna. But I was, I normally do, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's something like I'm working out, or like I'm going to a Saints game and I'm flashing my jersey. And actually, I went to a LSU game and I wore my clerics and like an LSU hat earlier this season. So I normally have my clerics on, and when it's bad to not wear clerics or your wedding ring is if you're not wearing it because you don't want to be recognized, right? If I'm going to hang out at Chimes with my friends and I don't wear my clerics because I don't want to be recognized, that's a problem. If you don't wear your ring because you don't want to be recognized as married, that's a problem.
Or even if it's like complacent, like I'm okay if people don't know that I'm married, or I'm okay if people don't know that I'm a priest or don't recognize me. Like that complacency is dangerous, because it leads only to like mediocrity or the temptation towards like deeper, I don't know, like violations of that trust in that relationship.
You should want to shout it out to the world,
Right,
like,
yeah.
like when you
right.
first fell in love and you're like, I'm going to tell the world.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
posting
Tom
that
Cruise,
all over
calm down.
Facebook. Yeah.
Is that Tom Cruise?
But like the jumping on the couch on Oprah, that was Tom Cruise, right?
That was
Oh.
Tom Cruise.
Oh,
I'm
gosh.
with you.
Okay, so
am with you.
real quick,
Yeah, we have plenty of
I
time.
also want to shout out another football player, but it's a
Yes.
New Orleans Saint.
Who dat?
Oh.
Who dat?
Who that said they're gonna beat them Saints?
Nobody.
Nobody. Who that said they're gonna have a lot of babies and talk about it on the field? Ben Watson.
Yes, Ben
So
Watson.
Ben Watson, our awesome. He's a great one, great
he's
football player.
incredible.
He's a like a philosopher. I mean, this guy when he writes, it's like he's pro-life. He's a Christian, a professed Christian, and he already had 5 children. Okay, and then he catches a pass. This was 2 weeks ago. I think it was against the Bengals. Catches a pass, great catch, and then he puts the ball under his jersey.
Oh, I saw that.
And then he rubs the belly, and then he puts up one hand. Okay, if you're watching online, if you're not, I have a 5 up. And then he puts up another hand and puts a 1 up. So you're like, oh, he's got 6 baby. And then he puts another one. He had twins.
Yeah, he's that bad twins.
I'm so
Yeah, and he shared about after the game. He shared that he and his wife
Yeah,
had some miscarriages, and they were like, let's try again, let's try one more time and see what the Lord wants. And
that's so.
now they're gonna
That is
have
beautiful.
all kinds of babies. And he
Oh, the
spoke
babies.
3 or 4 years ago at the National March for Life.
Oh, wow.
Incredible.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
yeah.
to wrap this up, I mean, I think it's. Can I wrap it up? Is that what I should do?
You go ahead with your bad
Well, to
self.
wrap it up, I think it comes back around to that children, and we see this in Philip Rivers, Ben Watson, and many people in our own lives that have been a great example of family life and being open to children, whether you have 8 or have 2, right? Numbers isn't the game here. And so I feel like sometimes families, Catholic families especially, can feel almost shamed if they don't have super large
for
families,
sure.
and it's not necessarily that they're close to life, they're not necessarily using contraception, and
Right.
we have to be super aware of that. Like people,
'Cause
God
that's
has
another
this
way
plan.
of commodifying children.
Exactly. Like I want a bunch of them, and it comes down to your relationship, an internal openness to God's plan, and He's planning your family with you, and
Yeah.
so that's kudos to Philip Rivers. May your passes go long. May your cribs overflow.
Yes,
May your
indeed.
fingers be covered with rings.
Yes,
Super Bowl rings and wedding rings.
yes, indeed.
Nicely done. Spike the
Father
ball.
Brad Doyle,
Spike the ball.
ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
517.
Yes, indeed. For those of you who are out there listening, we are glad that you are part of our ever-growing family. We are the Catholic Underground. Yes, indeed. You are listening to the Catholic Underground. We're online at CatholicUnderground.tv. I'm Kathleen Lee, here with Jeff Blackwell, Olivia Gulino, and Father Brad. We're all here. Our picks of the week are coming up. But first, if you're listening live, this is the month of November. And some of you may already be putting up your Christmas decorations. Shame, shame.
Actually, whatever. You can do it.
All right.
No. Should we discuss this?
Shit, yeah,
We can go for it.
I'm going for it.
So this is what I say. I say wait till Advent because at least it's a liturgical season.
Yep.
I have a problem when people use Thanksgiving as the marker because I'm like, Thanksgiving is not like, it's not a holy day of obligation. Like if we're talking about like Christmas is a liturgical celebration.
Right.
So let's be real about that. So if we're going to get like fussy about when we're starting to put up decorations, I say at least Advent.
Are you even American?
Father Brad, when do you decorate?
Right after Thanksgiving. Straight up. I don't know. Okay, there's
I'm
a
right
progression.
after
There's a
Thanksgiving.
progression. Thank you. Give me some of that. There's a
Not
progression.
opposed to it. Okay.
No. You were very opposed, and it's okay. I'm cool with it.
I don't
you
know if
being
the word
opposed.
very is appropriate. I just simply stated some objections.
Here's the deal. I make a distinction between liturgical observance and things that are strictly and pretty much associated with Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Songs, hymns, songs about Christ, these like Christmas carols type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And then there's like holiday season stuff, which is just like, okay, lights,
Like
holly,
snowflakes.
Yeah.
snowflakes. Is that necessarily
Snowmen.
associated with Christmas? No, it's a cultural
So
expression.
winter.
Wintry.
Yeah, wintry.
And it's
We don't
been
know much
cold.
about that
It's
here.
been darn cold down here, and I want to put up my little frosty lights.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
Why are you looking at me like I got some kind of
I don't know.
prejudice?
I'll start looking at Kathleen.
I'm getting all kinds of shade if y'all can't
Look, I'll
see
tell you this. One of the things that totally knocked me out of Christmas being in this like box was actually Father Brad. We were playing one MP3 several years ago, and it was like in the spring, and all of a sudden Father Brad just busts out and "Oh, come let us adore Him," and I was like. he can't sing that. He can't sing that right now. And then I was like, listen, I was like, oh wait, totally legit for like what's happening right now. And so now like I've stolen a little bit, sorry. But like I was like, oh, okay, so Christmas and like this idea of, so I'm after Thanksgiving. I'm an after Thanksgiving lady to prepare myself for Advent, but I'm a hard like I went in before Halloween to get decorations for Halloween, and they already had Mardi Gras decorations up on the.
I'm already doing my 2019 Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like next year.
No, indeed. Well, okay, so before Christmas, before Thanksgiving, we do celebrate two important feasts in the church, the very beginning of November, All Saints and All Souls Day. Yes. We remember with hope all those saints who are in God's presence, right, who've lived an exemplary life and were carefully examined by the church to be considered as such in the big S saints, right? It's also the time to remember those faithful, everyday Christians, common and ordinary, who with their virtues and limitations after having died hope to reach eternal glory, right? All the souls, all of the faithful departed, all those who have died, right? On All Souls Day, and this is one that's like often, everybody remembers All Saints Day, especially down here in the South, that's when the New Orleans Saints were founded on All Saints Day, right?
1964, 5, whatever.
One of those days. I was just going to stick with the date, but all right. But All Souls Day is also a really important, you know, celebration of the church. I remember the deceased faithful, and we're encouraged to offer a prayer for their soul's eternal rest. Not something that we think about past, like when somebody has passed away.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna pray for them on the day that we bury them, and then this is horrible to say, out of sight, out of mind. You know.
Well.
And even, you know, in our culture today, we struggle with the idea of death, and you know, going to how do you celebrate death? You know what I mean? Now, the church invites us to remember those who have died, to visit them at cemeteries, and of course, to pray for them. Right? But why do we bury our dead? Where does this tradition come from? And there's a lot of logistical reasons why we would bury our dead. Down here in the South, we don't actually bury them in a lot of places in the ground. Above ground graves are very prevalent in New Orleans. Why? Because New Orleans floods, right? And so, and the ground is really soft. But where does that come from, right? Most of us see this idea of burying someone after they died as something natural and part of the culture, right? But there's also a spiritual background behind this practice, which is pretty cool if you think about it, right? Number one, it's part of the works, the corporal works of mercy, right? It's the last in the list of the corporal works of mercy, and there's a reason to this, right? The previous 6, or the first 6 works of mercy, feed the hungry, give water to the thirsty, clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, visit the sick, visit those who are in prison, right? Talk about the charitable care of the one who is suffering, currently suffering, right? But when that life ends, maybe due to the suffering that they have encountered, right, we're also invited to give him a worthy and careful treatment without judging the life or the merits of the deceased, but as an act of love for our neighbor, right? That even in death, and it reminds me of the story of one of the wardens down here at one of our prisons. Angola is a huge prison down here in Louisiana. And when he came, this is where one of the wardens came to the prison before he was named warden, and he was encountering an inmate's death, or an inmate's funeral, sorry. And what happened was atrocious. Like, he was in a cardboard box, and it was raining, and and he said, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He said, these men have paid their debt in life, and they deserve dignity in their death. And so he redid the whole way that they did funerals at Angola. And now the inmates make these beautiful caskets, and they're allowed to take part in funeral processions with a horse-drawn carriage. It's beautiful. But this idea that like there is dignity even in your death, and how we celebrate that, right? And so number 2, right, because we believe in the resurrection, right? It's interesting that the first Christians built graveyards before they even built temples, right? And before being called a necropolis, right, which means city of the dead, they were called cemeteries, or this is from the Greek word for bedroom, which is very cool.
Like laying them to rest.
Right? If we believe in the resurrection, you're only resting.
blowing my mind.
Yes,
Yeah,
right?
like Paul says, like they are only sleeping.
Right? Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Right. And so, so even a new Latin verb came from this, the verb deposit, right? And this was in opposition to the pagan rite in which there was a donation of the body to Mother Earth, right? They gave the body to Mother Earth.
Weird.
In the Christian rite highlights that the body is deposited in the earth.
'Cause you get it
awaiting
back.
The
Yeah.
resurrection. Yeah.
I deposit so I
Yes.
can go out later,
Indeed.
get my money out, and go to heaven.
Right? A reminder that it's not only a biological package that remains as a waste, right? And that should be discarded in a clean and respectful way, but a body which rests in peace and ought to be resurrected in the last day. Right? Number 3, the Lord will resurrect our body. Right? The church invites us to, if possible, give burial to the body without altering. Now, this is important, and maybe Father Brad, you can kind of highlight this, because I know some people struggle with the idea of cremation and scattering ashes, and what's the teaching on that?
Yeah, so obviously it's preferable for a body without alteration to be buried because of what it says about our belief in the resurrection and the temptation to make cremation a response to a disbelief in that resurrection, that kind of thing you were talking about, the donation to the earth, like we're scattering and we're never going to have a body anymore. And if cremation is done because of that, then it's not good. But obviously, we develop, our doctrines develop, our practices develop, and so we allow it because the Lord will give us a resurrected body, regardless of whether we're cremated or just or in the ground in a bodily form. Anyway, so preferable in a casket.
Yeah, very good. Okay, and number 4, because our intercession, like we need to pray for the dead, for those who have passed on, because our intercession helps them, right? Those who are in purgatory becoming cleansed, right? We visit the tombs of our dead, not only out of obligation, right, but also to pray and to intercede for their soul, which we believe to be purifying itself in purgatory. Right? We call these prayers suffrages. The best way to do that: offer a mass, go to the Eucharist, go and visit and pray at their grave. Right. So all this month of November, we're praying for those who have passed on, in hopes that they pray for us. We know that we're praying for you. You're praying for us. We are the Catholic Underground, and we will be right back.
A prayer for vocations. O God, who wills not the death of a sinner, but rather that he be converted and live, grant, we beseech you, through the intercession of the Blessed Mary, ever Virgin, Saint Joseph her spouse, and all the saints, an increase of laborers for your church, fellow laborers with Christ, to spend and consume themselves for souls. Through the same Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, God, forever and ever. Amen.
Welcome back. You have found the Catholic Underground, surprise, with me, Kathleen Lee, joined by Olivia Gulino, Father Brad Doyle, Jeff Blackwell. Ed Ball is in the ball pit. Our peaks of the week are coming up. But first, Olivia, I know that this is one of your favorite. This guy is classic.
My homeboy.
Classic, St. Maximilian Kolbe. If you don't know him, you need to get a book. Olivia probably has several that she can recommend to you. This dude, his story is incredible. And not only the one act that he's remembered for,
Right.
Sure. But his teachings and the way he lived his life. Yeah. I was a couple years ago, went to Poland for World Youth Day, and was able to visit where he died.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story. But St. Maximilian Kolbe always has some great lessons for us.
Oh, yeah. And I asked Kathleen if I could do this one because St. Maximilian Kolbe is actually my confirmation saint.
Oh,
and
nice.
And that is like a complete, not fluke, because I was that person in my confirmation class, making Excel spreadsheets to try to figure out who I wanted to pick as my saint. No judgment. But looking at Father Brad, and he's judging me.
He's got judgy eyes.
Not your soul.
There you go.
Thank you. But in a real way, I believe that the saints pick us more than we pick them. And I think this is true in my own life of St. Maximilian Kolbe. And it's because of a lot of the things that Kathleen was talking about. Like, he's remembered for that, his self-sacrificial act at the end of his life where someone had escaped, and so they were picking 10 random prisoners to be sent to the starvation chamber, where they would just be starved to death. So they were picking 10 kind of examples, people to make examples of. Right. And there was a man who was picked randomly in this selection, and Father Maximilian, the man was really protesting. He was like, please, I have a wife, I have kids, like, please spare me. And Father Maximilian stepped forward and said, I'm a priest, I want to take his place. And of course, they're grabbing at the chance to be able to put to death a priest. So they, in a bizarre act of kind of mercy, they switch. They allow Father Maximilian to take the place of this man, and they go to the starvation chamber. It takes them 10 days, but Father Maximilian is comforting them the entire time. He's singing with them. He's bringing joy into that really dark place. Talk about bringing light into darkness. Right. And in the end, and someone said recently, like, the reason that he survived the starvation is because he had fasted for so many years as a priest. And I'm like, maybe. Well,
muscle memory.
So he didn't actually like die from like fasting. They had to poison him in the end because he outlived everyone else. And he was grateful for that. He was grateful that was his final gift as a priest, to be able to console the souls of those that were entrusted to him. Mm-hmm. So that's what he's remembered for, right? Which is, obviously, we're not detracting from that. It's incredibly beautiful. But one thing that I feel like we miss sometimes is that he has this incredible devotion from almost the beginning of his life to Mary. And when we think about St. Maximilian Kolbe and the lessons that he teaches us, it's often through that Marian lens that he's trying to get a message across. And he was also kind of a media priest. I imagine, like, if Father Chris would, get over his hatred of the beard, he could be like a modern Maximilian.
Oh, wait a minute.
You know what I mean?
No Shave November with Father Chris.
That's why you have me on.
But Lent's coming.
Oh, okay.
Lent's coming.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's right. Okay.
It's okay. And Father Chris, if you're listening,
he's skipping it. He's clean shaven up in Canada.
I know. I've seen the pictures.
And his face is cold.
Mm-hmm. It probably is.
But really, I mean, like, because Father Maximilian, St. Maximilian was like he started a radio station, he had a magazine, like, he was, for the time, like, he was very hip and with it. So, I mean, it was the 40s. Yeah. But the message was fundamentally the same, and just looking at it from different ways, which is go to Mary. Yeah. To Jesus through Mary. So he basically, like I said, like, he lived and died with this love for the Virgin Mary. And to really understand him, you have to understand that devotion. And to him, it was just logical and necessary that, like, if you want to follow Christ, you have no other choice than to go to Mary. Right. Because he says, our mission is to become like little Christs. Yeah. So if we're going to do that, then we have to entrust ourselves to the person to whom God entrusted himself. Yeah. Like, God chose the Virgin Mary to be incarnated through and in her, to spend 9 months in her womb, to spend 30 years in her house with Saint Joseph. Like, this is the one, that heaven and earth meet in Mary's womb, just like they meet on the altar in Mass. Like, so there's no detracting from how powerful that is, and we can't even encapsulate how powerful that is. Therefore, why not go to Mary?
Yeah. I was doing a retreat a couple months ago, and the retreat was on Mary, and one of the other speakers gave a beautiful insight. He said, at the time of the crucifixion, all of the apostles ran away, except for one who ran to Mary, John, right, the beloved, and Mary brought him back to Christ, to the foot of the cross. And I was like, dang, right? Like, the one who ran to Mary in a time of great distress, and she said, "Come on, this is where we need to go." She brought him back to the foot of the cross, right? Yeah. And how beautiful that idea is that we run to Mary. Yeah, she brings us to her Son. Yeah,
and she also shows us what to do in those moments. Because, think about, like, Mary stands at the foot of the cross. That's not an easy thing to do. She's watching her Son, who she knows is the Son of God. Right. She's watching her Son be crucified. And she's known for his entire life, since his conception, that this is what was going to happen. Yeah. And she's been preparing, she's been pondering these things in her heart, right? But she's seeing it unfold in front of her. And she's not crumbling. She's not falling apart. Right. She's not trying to distract herself and fill her heart with other things. She's standing there. She's receiving it all, as painful as it is, and she's standing. And in that moment, she's giving birth to the church, right?
Yeah.
She's like with Christ, it said that the church is born from the side of Christ, and Mary's there because she is the new Eve. She is our mother. And so when we say that Mary is our spiritual mother, that's not like an empty kind of like consolation prize, like, oh, well, she's Jesus' mom, but she's your spiritual mom. Like, like that's a real thing. Like, because you are body and soul, and your soul is not a concession to your body. They're equal players in making you. And just so, like, if we want to be formed spiritually, just like if, I don't know, I don't work out, but like if you want to become better bodily, oftentimes you need someone to show you what to do. Because if you just go into like a CrossFit gym, or you go into just a normal gym and you just start doing things, you're gonna hurt yourself. Same in the spiritual life. In fact, like if you just start kind of messing around with things in the spiritual life, you're gonna get into some trouble.
Yeah.
But
Well,
if
you just form bad habits.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so if we form ourselves or allow ourselves to be formed in the spiritual womb of Mary, then through, the grace and the power of the Holy Spirit, who is her spouse, we can be formed more into the likeness of the Son of God. We are already made in the image of God. It's our task in life to become more of the likeness of God. And that's what Mary helps us to do. And so St. Maximilian, he says this over and over again, in her womb, the soul must be regenerated according to the form of Jesus Christ. And with the help of the Immaculate, we are capable of everything, the Immaculate being Mary, of course. He also talks about how the essence of holiness is obedience. And this is honestly one of my favorite parts of St. Maximilian's teaching, because it's kind of like the unpopular part that, like, if you're reading an article and you get to the part about obedience, you're like, just scroll, it's fine.
Yeah, right?
Like, I know, I gotta like listen and do stuff, but just scroll, let me get to the pretty stuff.
Yeah.
But the way he talks about obedience is really transformative. I think especially for our time, because we don't like that. Like, as a culture and as a generation, we don't like the idea of having to be obedient to someone. We like independence, right? Sure. I want to be self-sufficient. I want to be my own woman, my own person. I want to be like completely on my own, except for when I choose to be with other people. But obedience is something different. I have to submit myself to someone else's authority. I have to recognize that someone else is superior in a way that I am not. And I am not only like begrudging about that, I'm okay with it. I'm good with it. I'm happy about it. Yeah. And that's not a place where we live. We're not comfortable there. So we don't do that. And so it's tempting to think about holiness as something that's like, I don't know, maybe like set aside for only certain people, like even certain Christians, like they're, like those ladies in church who spend all the time in church. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, well, they're the holy ones. And I'm different. I'm not that. Yeah. But really, like, when you're looking at them, it's not like excessive amounts of prayer that's making them holy. It's not, and when you look at the saints, it's not the fact that they like had these, thousands of mystical visions that make them holy. It's the fact that they listened. Yeah. They're obedient. Like I said, they're willing to submit themselves to a power that's greater than themselves. And so one of the most important lessons that St. Maximilian has taught is that holiness is nothing more than obedience to the will of God in every circumstance of life. So not only in those big circumstances where you can kind of see in a certain way, like there's a choice I have to make here, and either one is going to kind of change the course of my life. Yeah. But really, in every moment, there's that reality. In every moment, there's a chance to be obedient to God. And it comes down to the words that you say or the thoughts that you think, mm-hmm. that you entertain. All of those things are chances to be obedient to the will of God.
Man, I wish I could just levitate and that was holy. Yeah. I have to actually love. I can't just have all these gifts and be a clashing gong and a banging cymbal.
No, brother, you gotta love.
If you have all the gifts and tongues of mm-hmm. angels and do not have love, you're not doing it right.
No. Exactly.
Well, think about it this way too. Like, for New Year's, every year I fail miserably because I'm like, I'm gonna like.
You fall asleep before midnight?
Yes, because I am old. And
for all those older listeners out there who are offended that Kathleen called herself old.
Well,
Okay, so how do you feel?
So, but every year, like at New Year's, like I'm gonna lose 30 pounds. I'm gonna mm-hmm. eat just chicken and chicken broth. One year I tried to go on a saltine Okay, one year I tried to go on a saltines diet, and then I worked at a daycare, and they had chili that day. So I was like, well, saltines
Mary,
goes
Mother
really
of
good
God.
with.
You're like, it's a solemnity.
That's my favorite
It goes
story.
really good with.
I
Saltines
worked at
goes
a
really good
daycare.
with chili. So, but like.
Who gives kids chili?
Well,
That's
they
gonna
were-
be everywhere.
It was great. It was fantastic. But that's what I'm thinking. Like, you know, when you think about the spiritual life, it's very much like that. Like, if I decided tomorrow that I'm going to give up Cheetos and Coke and Chick-fil-A, bye, and I can't do that unless I've said, okay, I'm going to limit myself, you know, now to one Coke and a handful of Cheetos, you know, and then, you know, like, it's the same way in the spiritual life. If you're not obedient in the small things, you can't be obedient in the big things because you haven't built anything up. You haven't built any spiritual muscle to be able to do that.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say with my chili.
I just
and my
love that. I'm
saltines.
never gonna forget that story. And then I worked at a daycare and they served chili. Kathleen Lee, ladies and gentlemen.
It was the best and worst day of my life.
But no, I mean, y'all make some really good points because like it's so much about that marriage of obedience and love. And because sometimes like we think about like holiness is just like that Saint Therese kind of love, like just holy on fire, completely all consuming. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes the holiness is cultivated in those moments of obedience when you don't feel any love or when you don't feel the capacity to act on it. Like some of my favorite moments in scripture are when people are just kind of like letting God have it. Like I think about Elisha. Is it Elisha when the Shunammite woman?
He was the bald one.
What?
He was bald.
Yes, but that's not what I'm trying. Okay,
Okay.
stick with me.
I'm
No, I think
trying.
it was Elisha. Yeah, when he was the Shunammite woman, her son had died, and she was mourning him. And he goes into the son's room, and he's mad because like these are his friends. These are people that he stays with regularly. Like they take care of him when he comes, and he loves this boy. And he's mad, and he's praying to God, but you can read the anger in it. And I love those moments because in that moment, I don't know that you could say that he's overwhelmed with like warm and fuzzies. He's not feeling sentimental. He's like there's still a love there, but it's manifesting in like I'm going to be obedient to your will. So you tell me what I have to do in this moment. And God is faithful. God shows up. It's not always in the, you know, like if A then B equals C kind of way, but God shows up. And it's because of our obedience. And it's also like there's that texture of relationship in there too. Like we can't just come to God when we're feeling warm and fuzzy because that's not a relationship. But we still be obedient in those moments where we don't feel like we can do anything worthwhile, or when we don't feel like maybe God is present, or maybe we just feel more of an absence. You know, think of Mother Teresa in those moments and how much she endured, but she was still, her love manifested in obedience.
You know what I want to point out about Maximilian Kolbe and this whole talk is that he shows you, and as many saints do, actually every saint, right? There's an aspect of suffering, and he dies at the end. So he gives his life to Jesus through Mary, and he dies in a concentration camp. Like it's like giving your life to Jesus through Mary does not mean you're not going to suffer.
Yeah.
And so if you're out there and you're experiencing suffering, you're like, I gave my life to God and I still experience the suffering, like you're going to be a saint. Like that's, if you do it right, you know, and this is awesome. And so it was never promised. Jesus never promised it. He said, pick up your cross. You will be like me. They will persecute you too. And the comfortable are not gonna be, I mean, the rich, like if you're really rich and you don't care about anyone in your life, like you can't get to heaven. He says it's like a camel can't passing through the eye of the needle. Basically we're all gonna suffer, right? And the saints show us that, and you just do it well, like singing songs and hymns and canticles with those who were with you that aren't even of your same faith. Like there was Jews and other people in there. So
and he says something like that too. He's talking about how don't forget that holiness consists not in extraordinary actions, but in performing your duties towards God, yourself, and others well. Just do it well. Just try. Show up. If you show up, God shows up. So he also talks about how sin can even help us grow in holiness. And I love how
that's a hot take.
I
right
know,
there.
like I almost feel like controversy even saying that, because we're, you know, if you're listening and your spine kind of shot up, like that's a weird thought. But one of his ideas was that sin can actually help us advance on the road to perfection because it shows us our limits. You know, sin is a very has a very effective way of telling us how far we can go and how weak we are. And also shows us the consequences of the risk that we take with our relationship with God. And those are real things. My mom, bless her, always used to say when we were kids, like, there are consequences for every decision you make.
Sure, yeah.
And sometimes you only know those consequences by making the wrong decision and being confronted with it and knowing, I don't ever want to do that again.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to be that again. Which is not to say that sin is ever excusable or like it's something that we should try for because we're going to learn a lesson from it. No, of course not. But if you find yourself there, then well, okay, sin is forgivable. I want to go back and say that. But if you find yourself there, then be there. Allow the Blessed Virgin to come into that moment with you and let her be a mother to you. Let her be a mother who shows you, okay, this is where you went wrong and this is what you can do better. Yeah. This is where you can lean more on Jesus because you aren't strong enough right now, or you need the grace to be able to withstand whatever it is in this trial, this temptation. Yeah.
Reminds me of the scripture where Jesus says, who loves more? The one who sins much and has been forgiven much, right? And so it's like, that's how sin, it's not like God wants us to sin. So like, hey, see you listeners, go out and sin. That's my pick of the week. Right. Like, no, it's not my pick of the week. No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
But God uses our falls. I mean, hello, the fall. Oh, happy fall. Oh, necessary sin of Adam, which brought to us so great a Redeemer. It's right there in the liturgy of Easter, the Easter Vigil. You know, like he allows it because he's going to use it, and he's going to punch sin in the face.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
I love it. It actually makes me think about a prayer someone taught me one time. It's like, Hail Mary, full of grace, punch the devil in the face. It's a good one. It's a good one. Which also kind of leads into this next point about like missionary zeal. Like St. Maximilian Kolbe is one of the he lives it in a quieter way, but he's a zealot by every definition of the word, because there's no like half-heartedness in him. He's not hot and then he's not like lukewarm. He's hot all the time. And his mission is to liberate as many souls as possible from sin and to lead them to their true happiness by uniting them with God through that relationship with the Blessed Virgin. And he that's why he kind of harps on that so much. He's like, it's not enough to become the Immaculate with some defined limits, is what he says. In every respect, we must desire to radiate her so as to draw to her the souls of all others who are, will be, and might be without restriction. So all he's saying is like, you got to go in hard. You got to go hard in the paint, and you have to bring Mary. I can do sports references, and you got to bring Mary into every situation, because the light that Mary radiates, the light of Jesus Christ that you will live by living a life of holiness, attracts people. It attracts people. It leads them to Jesus through Mary, and that's going to save souls.
Can you describe what it means to go hard in the paint?
To go hard in the paint. So like if you're, let's say, no, I'm not going to do this right now.
Oh, okay. I'm just saying.
I played post for years.
I was inappropriate. Sorry.
Yeah, you did.
So, all right. So Maximilian Kolbe also talks about, he's a great example of like, okay, yeah, you love everyone, even your enemies. He lives that pretty well, because he was never combative. He was never like vicious. He never became surly or mean, even though he withstood some really, truly terrible things. And he says, kind of what you were just saying a minute ago, Father Brad, that we need to love our neighbor not just because he is pleasant or helpful or rich and influential, or even because he shows us gratitude. Because in the end, these motives are self-serving. We need to love because of the dignity of the person, because we want their happiness. And then finally, he just talks about how we should never be discouraged. And sometimes the life of holiness is really rocky, or there's lots of obstacles, or we're just not who we want to be. And so we experience some kind of shame, or maybe a lot of shame because of that. And I really encourage you, like, pray with St. Maximilian Kolbe, pray with the Blessed Virgin, and listen to his encouragement to never lose heart. To always be courageous, to entrust everything to Mary, absolutely everything to Mary, hold nothing back, because she's far more capable than us of helping us than we are of helping ourselves. And I love this. I'm gonna end with this. He says, let us let ourselves be led then. Let us not attempt to do more than that which Mary wills, or more quickly. Because think about it, Mary's will is completely in line with the will of God, which is why she is the Blessed Virgin Mary. She's full of grace. That means that she is completely in line with the will of God. So let us not attempt to do more than what Mary wills, or more quickly. So if you feel like maybe you're not becoming holy fast enough, if you feel like maybe you're just not progressing towards who you need to be or what you need to do or what you want to be in life, then allow Mary to enter into that and to help you find your pace.
Yes, absolutely. Love it. St. Maximilian Kolbe, pray for us. For sure. Well, Mr. Blackwell, I believe it's time for that part of the show that we like to call
the CU Pick of the Week.
Yes, indeed. It's one of my favorite parts, and I came in clutch at the last minute. I got a good one. But we'll start today with you, Jeff.
Oh, well, heavens, that's very nice of you.
Jeffrey.
My wife and I came across this app. We've been talking about doing the 33 Days to Morning Glory. But I will tell you, this is really a neat app that helps us because we have one book, or we could have the app, which, she can call up on her phone or iPad. Yep. It is a free, beautiful app for the smartphone, the tablet, and it helps you on this 33-day virtual retreat, if you will, with our mother. Totally Yours is the name of the app. And it gives you options on when to begin the retreat. It takes less than, thank you, yes. By the way, the Jeff Star one is the only ship in the fleet that has, in the CU fleet that has a tip jar.
Oh, nice.
Thank you, Ed. That was very kind of you.
So it emerges from the ball pit.
Yeah, and there's another tip in here. Let's see. Would male team members remember to put the seat down to the zero gravity toilet?
Oh, my God.
Screw.
Father Chris will be back in 2 weeks, everyone.
Oh, that's the other one here. It says, how about bringing Father Chris back? I miss his humor.
Aww.
And that's nice.
We miss him.
5 minutes a day, and you also have choices of prayers and journaling. It really is a sweet app, and I think you'll enjoy it. And we're on our way to December 8th, which is...
The Immaculate Conception.
There you go. Yeah.
Totally Yours. Excellent. Okay. Gulino, what you got over there?
Okay, so mine is actually kind of providentially related to yours.
I know, I saw that and it spurred mine. So here we go.
Well, then you cheated. So here we go. No, it's my pick.
My turn. It's my turn.
Shut it. My pick of the week is the Magnolia Record Club. So I am one of those I'm one of those people. I have my turntable, and I've had it for years, and I love it. And anyway, I love to listen to music on vinyl.
Nice.
And but I don't always have time to go to the record store. I like to go and chat with the guy and get recommendations. But Magnolia Record Club is a subscription, a monthly subscription where Drew Holcomb of Drew Holcomb and the Neighbors, he curates the albums that come out every month that are part of the subscription service. And so you can either pay monthly or every 3 months or for a year, and you get vinyl in the mail every month from Magnolia Record Company. It has a postcard in it that explains why Drew picked it. It has recommendations for other things. So it's just really, I don't know, kind of intricate the way that they've worked this. So if you like this kind of music, here's more of it. Yeah. And then let's say that something comes up and you either already have it or you know the person and you're just not interested. You can go into their shop and say, I really don't want that one this month. I want another one. And they'll send you the other one. And what's great about them is that it's not just stuff that you can find in the store. Some of it is, some of it isn't. They have a lot of limited edition releases or maybe things that haven't come out on vinyl yet to the public. Yeah. So you can get really kind of exclusive things from a really well curated service. So I've been really happy with it. I've been doing this for the past 3 or 4 months, and I'm really stoked about Magnolia Record Club.
And vinyl is back. I'm sorry.
It is.
Oh no, I was about to say vinyl. I mean, that's old school in it, but it kind of helps you actually listen to the music because you have to care and
I have to be there in the room and listen to it. I can't just put it on and walk away.
And I saw the Eagles has a gift set now that's it's 12 CDs or 15 vinyl albums, which really surprised me.
Yeah, but they also lost 48-7.
No, okay.
Oh. Kathleen, what's your pick of the week?
Well, I was going to say, Father Brad, it's time for your shameless plug. Pick of the week.
So my pick of the week is it is a shameless plug. I'm so sorry.
But it's a good one. It's a really good one.
So I'm an associate pastor in 3 parishes in the River St. James civil parish. But on the side, I host a podcast, and the podcast is called The Quizzical Papist. Okay.
Yeah.
Ding. And it's quiz Quizzical Papist, okay? And what it is, it's just a Catholic trivia podcast. So I have guests on. Olivia's been on a show. Kathleen, I need to get you on there.
I'll let you go.
Yeah.
You know where I am.
It's also kind of It's supposed to be a bar trivia feel.
Yeah.
So sometimes we might review some beers on there, and it's questions that that have the pop culture. Where does that meet the faith? And so they're not all super duper like where in the catechism is this teaching.
It was fun. I had a great time, and I've listened to a bunch of the episodes since the one that I've done, and it's really well done. I can give
where can they find it?
Yeah, so any podcatcher, most of the big ones, so iTunes, Spotify, I think that's definitely on Google Play somewhere out there. But my Buzzsprout, if you go to Facebook, the Quizzical Papist, I have a Facebook group. There's not a lot of people on it right now, so go out there. But any kind of podcast app, go get it, subscribe, rate me, review me, and just have fun. Listen to it with friends and see if you can get some answers right and you learn some stuff.
Yeah,
Kathleen, what's your pick of the week?
My pick of the week. Okay, a couple weeks ago, I went to Houston to listen to Need to Breathe. It's where I encountered Bucky for the first time in my life. Best day of my life ever in all of the universe. The other day, Need to Breathe let out an acoustic album. Did you get this?
It was part of the subscription service, but
you didn't get it. We're not friends anymore. Okay,
I love you though.
My parents just moved, so we have a half-empty house now with surround sound.
Wow.
I do not like acoustic versions of anything. I don't like it. I think it's boring. I put this on today, and I was every song. Oh, all right, Need to Breathe. Go ahead with your bad self. Now, I'm very sad that I will be missing their new acoustic tour.
I am going to that. Does
I don't
that
want
make
to talk
it better?
about it. No, because I'm not going to that.
Okay, I can't win.
So
All right,
Need to
I'm gonna head
Breathe
out for the night.
Acoustic Live Volume 1. It just shows what incredible musicians they are, both in production and by themselves. I mean, you go back on Magnolia Records and tell them you need this really bad, because that's just it. Now,
I'm in trouble.
Jeff,
Yes.
we're always grateful for our viewers, our listeners, and our benefactors.
Indeed, we are. And this week, Catholic Underground is possible because of people like you. You can join the growing number of undergrounders at CatholicUnderground.com/donate. Also, portions of the Catholic Underground are brought to you by audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground. More information at CatholicUnderground.tv.
Yes, indeed. If you'd like the show notes for the episode or to subscribe to the podcast audio, go to CatholicUnderground.com. Our panelists have been Olivia Gulino at the.real.omg. Good night.
She's still so mad about that.
Yes, indeed. Our guest host has been Father Brad Doyle at the Quizzical Papist podcast.
Yeah.
Good to have you. Our technical director is Jeff Blackwell. JeffBlackwell.us or at Jeff Blackwellis on Instagram and the Twitters.
It's an honor.
Our research assistant and leader of the crew in the lab is Jim Hayes.
Yeah, Jim.
Thank you so much for sticking with us, Jim. Our video and graphics director is, of course, Ed Ball. You know me. I'm Kathleen. I'm here for another week. And then Father Chris is back. You can follow me on Instagram at Kaylee626. We hope, all of us collectively, we've helped you cut through the noise and find that still small voice. We are the Catholic Underground. We are Faith Gone Digital. And we will see you next time.
From the Catholic Underground.